That's it. I'm sick of studying. I don't understand agreements. I'm only trying to memorize the rules.
Me too. I wish we could just snap our fingers and know it.
It's worth a try.
Are you serious? That's crazy.
It was your idea. Just do it with me.
Uno, dos, tres! Have no fear, agreement girl is here. Whoa! Cool! Are you serious? So, what's the problem, girl?
Well, we have the English final exam tomorrow. I understand everything about these stupid agreement rules.
What? Agreements aren't stupid. Why, they're everything. When I was a little girl, I felt so little and unused and unimportant. I felt like an interjection. I was shy, but I was observant, and I noticed all of my friends terrible, absolutely terrible subject, verb, and pronoun antecedent contradictions. Why, it made me... Listen, girl, the final exam is tomorrow, and we have exactly 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 5 seconds from Freckle till I have to go home. We are not ready. All right, okay. I think the best thing for you two girls is for you to learn this on your own. Come on. Oh my God! Please, I'm gonna take you somewhere very far. Why? What? Where are we even going? Where is this? No! Oh my God! Where did she go? What's that? What the heck? This is ridiculous. She doesn't even go here and then she just leaves? Oh, it's from her. Sorry I left you. I'm late for tea. This is Furball McGee, my former college roommate. I want you to spill your guts out to him about all the rules of agreement. You know more than you think. You know what? Now that is the thing that is ridiculous. I know exactly the amount of things that I think, because the things that I think and the things that I know are right in the same section. Therefore, they're best friends. Or worst enemies. Either way, they know each other.
Okay. Well, there are 10 rules for subject-verb agreement.
Are you serious? We're doing this? She's crazy. We don't have to do this. We should just go back to studying.
The number 1 rule is easiest. It's like a base rule. The number 1 rule applies to all correct sentences, but most sentences have another rule that applies to them. Only sentences that don't have another rule that applies to them are considered number 1 rule sentences.
It also says that the verb has to agree with the subject is in number.
Exactly, that's what subject-verb agreement is. Now you do one.
Fine. Well, I like the and rule, I guess. Like, Julie and Sophie go back downstairs to study. Julie is singular and Sophie is singular, but together, joined by and, they're plural, which is the reason why you say are going instead of is going.
The or rule is a lot like the and rule, except it's the opposite, like Julie or Sophie has to talk to Furball McGee. The or rule is talking about 2 different things, but the verb only agrees with one of the things. That's why it's singular.
You know what that reminds me of? The location rule. The location rule is a lot similar to the or nor rule because many of the subjects have or nor in between them. But the difference is that one of the subjects is singular and one of the subjects is plural. And the verb can't agree with both a singular and a plural because that doesn't make any sense. An example of this is either the team or the coach has to go talk with the principal. You see how I used has instead of have? That's because it agrees with the closest subject. I think the reason that this is because it makes you easier to follow within a sentence if it just agrees with the closest subject.
Since we're talking about amounts, the amount rule is when the subject is a countable thing, such as when we're talking about a price, like $29. It may seem like it's plural because it's more than one thing, but it's singular.
That's weird. Why?
Well, because it's kind of like the collective noun rule. You're talking about the amount as a whole.
Oh yeah, the collective noun rule is when the subject is a noun that is a group, like class or family, that you're talking about as a whole.
Like the class left the room.
Then class is singular because you're talking about it as a whole. When you talk about the group in parts,
like some of the class leaves the room,
then it's plural because you're talking about more than one part. It's kind of like the don't doesn't rule. You know how plural nouns normally end in S
Yeah.
and singular nouns normally end don't? Well, doesn't is kind of like that, but it's the opposite. You know how does ends in S, but doesn't is singular, and do does not end in S, but don't is plural.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really helpful. The hardest one for me is the chart rule.
Well, that's a really hard one to explain. I don't know how I would explain that. What? What is this? It looks like a chart.
And an acronym list.
I think this is the chart for the chart rule.
Well, that's helpful.
Oh, and this matches up with this. Well, look at the chart and look at this. The singular nouns are each, either, neither, one, and no one, which is every eligible newbie ought to notice. It's also any word that ends in one, body, or thing, like someone, somebody, or something. The plural ones are like Booth Middle School's finest, both, many, several, and few.
And then the singular and plural ones.
Which are pretty confusing.
Yeah.
And admire my non-existent swag. All, any, most, none, and some. You might be really confused about if it's singular or plural, but all of these nouns will have a prepositional phrase that follows it, and the object of the prepositional phrase determines its number, such as all of the papers. All is plural because papers is plural.
That makes sense. Wow.
Another two rules are the plural-looking noun rule and
the title rule. The title rule is when the subject is a title of something, like a movie, TV show, book, anything. And the title is always singular. Even though it might look plural, it's singular.
But what about, say, The Anybody's, a book we read in our English teacher's
Singular.
class? Parks and Recreation?
Singular.
But parks is plural.
Singular.
But
it doesn't matter, it's singular because it's in a title.
But
singular.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's singular. Alright, what about the plural looking noun though?
Well, some nouns, like titles, look plural, such as economics or mathematics, but they're singular too. There's no real list of plural-looking nouns, so you just kind of have to feel your way around them. But, yeah, I think that's it. Wow, she really did help us. Woo, we're finally done with subject-verb agreement.
But we can't forget pronoun antecedent agreement.
All I remember from that is that it's just like subject-verb agreement, except the pronouns have to agree with the antecedent in gender along with number. But what even is gender?
Well, there are 3 genders. Female, male, and neuter.
Neuter, isn't that like a chair or a table or a marker? Something we don't refer to as having a gender?
Yep, everything except animals with known genders. And humans is neuter.
And the only rule with pronoun antecedent besides the subject-verb agreement rules is the I don't know rule, right? Except you remove the don't doesn't rule.
Yes, it says that when you don't know the gender of the subject, use his or her, or their.
We were locked in?
Freedom!
Oh my god, it's a closet! We're never gonna get out of here! Ah! Have no fear!
Whoa!
Agreement girl is here. Are you Is it even recording?